My name is Mary Beth Banyos, and I am the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment for the Shrewsbury Public Schools. We are a very collaborative district. We have faculty advisory councils where myself and our superintendent and our HR director gather with teacher representatives from every school once a month to hear what's working, what's not working. What are some of the issues that you're hearing about that we need to be paying attention to?
I think being collaborative means really honoring multiple perspectives, and I think that Shrewsbury works really hard to get a lot of voices in any initiative. Voices of teachers, voices of administrators, voices of students, voices of community members, and in the case of our Innovation and Learning Study Group, the school committee members as well.
And I think that way of doing business or making decisions trickles down. So then when you are a department director, let's say, and then you're making decisions within your department, you employ a similar methodology in terms of how you go about making decisions. And then I think then that trickles down into the classroom, where if people are accustomed to working in environments where their input is sought, they're more likely to seek input from their students. So I really think it's really about empowering each and every individual learner, whether the learner is an adult learner or a student learner.
Engaging and empowering students is really critical. I think that one of the reasons for that is until you've kind of captured their heart and their passion, you don't have a shot at their mind. The idea of that I'm not going to do this work just for my classroom now, that I have an audience beyond my classroom, and that I am contributing something of value to the world. When you look at work with those kinds of things driving you forward, you get students who are creating things of much higher quality and much deeper in terms of learning than you do when a teacher says, here's what I want you to learn and here's how I want you to learn it.
The Student Innovation Team started off as a way to manage the tech needs that we expected would be happening when we launched the one-to-one initiative here at the high school.
Our principal approached the student body and asked about being involved with the one-to-one initiative that we were going to have the following year. And at that same meeting, he also asked students to take part in what's called a technology advisor group, where a group of students advised the principal on issues related to technology and possible issues that would come up for next year. And at that meeting, he also mentioned about the Student Innovation Team, where he said if you have any questions or if you want to help be part of the following year's one-to-one deployment and you have a passion of helping the school community as a whole, you can take part and give advice into how the course will run, or like feedback onto how the iPads are going in school as a whole, or what you want to change or anything like that.
The idea was that we wanted to empower students to help their peers and to help teachers to manage any issues that might come up with the iPads. And then it also was intended for students to help to train their peers and to train teachers and best practices in terms of using iPad apps for educational purposes.
The important thing with working with a teacher, especially in my senior year, is it gives me that sense of seeing adults as peers. Growing up, going through elementary school, through middle school, you've always seen adults as these authority figures, and they sort of look down on you. But now as I'm getting into high school and I'm a senior, I'm starting to look at teachers as though we are almost equals. And doing something like this really helps that out and prepares me for when I get a job and when I go to college, because it'll be different, and different situations can be really confusing, but doing this prepares me for that and helps me set up for the future.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I think a lot of the technology, we've gone one-to-one on iPads very fast at this school, and I think a lot of
the process for the teachers is recognizing that, first of all, we can give a lot of control to the students, and second of all, what the students can show us. I mean, they're far beyond most of our technological abilities, and it is really fun to just say, do this, use whatever you want, and to see the outcomes and to see what can be produced. And I think it is a shift in the teaching process because we are forced to almost give up a little control. It's not only helpful, but it's also kind of cool to give the students a sense of ownership in the education. It kind of almost guarantees me a level of engagement that I might not have had, but also make sure that the skills I'm trying to hit, I'm asking the right type of question. Like Nick a lot of times would rephrase it in a way that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of, and that's really important because that's sort of trial and error on a teacher's perspective that you get over time, but it's like I'm getting the immediate answer right now for not every single learner, but for a lot of different learners. So that's probably the most helpful thing for me.
And watching the program grow and how we've changed things and how we've been doing things is just really great because how the program has evolved from being just a little internship on the side, that I'd only do half the week, to this, full-on class that I'm doing every single day and helping people with their problems has been really, really great.
I would say that right now is an incredibly exciting and scary time to be an educator. That the capacity for anyone to learn now is enormous through online courses, through digital resources, through connectivity to people that have deep expertise. And at the same time, it is really scary because there has been a very long-standing idea about what school looks like. And school can't look like it's looked before in the face of these changes. And without making adjustments to what school looks like, I think we lose tremendous potential in our students. And we have an obligation to figure out how to be sure that we provide them with experiences that lead them to be prepared, contributing citizens in a 21st century world.